We're drawing near to the close of the Easter season, the 40 days which Jesus spent with the little church, instructing them, meeting with them, encouraging them. But the risen Christ wasn't just a dead man walking around proving something. Jesus needed to drive home to the disciples what he had been trying to tell them all the days he lived with them in the days of his 3-year ministry. And it's pretty obvious from the New Testament that all that Jesus said and did wasn't fully appreciated, wasn't even grasped by the little church at that time. Take, for instance, that first reading. Peter is called to the house of a non-Jew and is amazed that the Holy Spirit comes down upon these people even before they receive baptism. Peter had received a vision from God, the vision of the unclean animals that he was told to take and eat, which was a symbol of God's total acceptance of everybody. And then he had to have an angel come and instruct him to go to the house of Cornelius and baptize all these people. Peter still hadn't gotten the message that what Jesus had come to teach was God's total impartiality, that God loved everything that God had brought into existence, especially human beings. So the disciples needed these 40 days of continual experience of the risen Jesus, continually listening to him, speaking to them, and exemplifying for them what he had come in the first place to reveal: God's total acceptance, total love, total forgiveness, and even God's doing away with death as a permanent experience. You and I share the life of the risen Christ just as the disciples did in the first days. And it takes us, if I know from my own experience, a long time to really come to grasp with what Jesus did and said in those days and is still doing in our days. The risen Christ has come to change the way we live. He's come to change the way we love. And he exemplifies that in the way he loved and laid down his life for everyone. Love is not often and always reciprocated, but that doesn't condition God's love. Even if we do not accept it, at first at least, we eventually, hopefully, will come to grasp it as our life goes on. And we are called to live that same loving life. That's what all these readings were about today as we come to the end of the Easter season. This is where it really counts, that we love and live as God lives in love for us, exemplified above all in Jesus. So the question which comes to a disciple today would be, how far am I willing to go to love and give my life away for others? Let's not forget the definition of love isn't some warm, fuzzy feelings about another person. It's about being concerned for the well-being of that other person. How far am I willing to shape or reshape my way of living so that I can give my life away as Jesus did for the other? Where is the Spirit of Jesus showing me and the whole church whom to accept and love? Who in my life is outside of the perimeter of my love? Whom am I neglecting? Whom am I not concerned about? This can be an individual in my family. It can be an ethnic group. It can be somebody in another political party. It can be all of those divisions which we set up among ourselves to exclude others from our concern, that is, from our love. These days with the risen Lord for the early church And for us, as we celebrate these days liturgically, are a period of reshaping and being reshown by Jesus the way he calls us to live. That there is no distinctions between friend and family and enemy and other. That we are called to be concerned about, that is to love all. And to do what we can concretely to make that love a reality in their lives. No partiality in the life of a Christian, if we are truly to be disciples. I think we've been living virtual Eucharist for the past year or so, and that was helpful because we were not able to meet together. But the real Eucharist brings all kinds of people together at the table of the Lord and exemplifies concretely, Sunday after Sunday, that we are called to love no matter who we come in contact with. Our virtual Eucharist, I'm sure, if we are with anybody else, it's with like-minded people, family and friends. But the Eucharist on Sunday, the real Eucharist, when we come together, will remind us week after week that our call to love, to be like Christ, to love as Christ loved, excludes no one. May the days ahead, the final days of the Easter season, continue to bring us closer to the reality which Jesus implanted in us when he gave us his Spirit, that we are called to love as the Father loved. He said, "As the Father loves me, so I love you." Remain in that love.